Hello, VW Lifers. Gary here with the Matt Jackson. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to bring you today kind of a special episode, Matt Jackson. Special to us, right? We're going to talk about our Volkswagens. Yes, we've seen us with work on stuff and do this and that and go look at junk things out in the barns, everything like that. Well, today, we're going to talk to you about Helga the bus, Matt Jackson's bus, and Jerry the bus, my bus. So come along with us. We hope you enjoy just a little bit of detail and insight on what makes us tick, Matt Jackson.
Yeah, I think you guys are enjoy seeing our buses. They mean a lot to us, and we want to share it with you guys.
For sure. That's kind of what VW Life's all about, just talking back and forth, sharing with you guys what we do and how we do it.
Yep.
So come on along for the ride, y'all.
Let's do it. This episode is sponsored by Volts America magazine. Volts America is a deluxe VW magazine. They have car show coverage, how-to articles, and all kinds of goodies. Each issue is over 100 pages long. They come out quarterly, so check them out. I'm going to leave a link in the description below where you can get your own subscription. And I'm going to give away a free copy. Leave a comment below and tell me why you'd want one for yourself.
Hello, everybody out there in VW Life land. Gary here, and you know what? Matt Jackson and I have been talking. We said, you know what? Maybe folks kind of want to know a little bit of our background. What in the world brought us to VW Life? So I'm going to share with you, and Matt Jackson is too. So walk over here with me a little bit. This is Jerry the bus, ladies and gentlemen. This is a 1965 tin-top Westphalia. Jerry was born in February of 65, so he's really old like me. So some people ask sometimes, how in the world did you find something like this? Well, I will let you in on a trade secret. I was looking on Craigslist a long time ago, about 12, 15 years ago, something like that. And believe it or not, I was doing a search on Volkswagen spelled with a O. That was the key. I'll let you in on a trade secret. Somebody had this posted as Volkswagen, not Volkswagen, and I found it and went and picked it up. And it was pretty rough. It didn't run or anything like that, and it was not anywhere near it looks like now, but it looks pretty rough now. But this is a SO42 tin-top Westphalia, and the only thing that is missing, as you can tell, is the ice box here. I took that out a long time. Well, it wasn't here, so I built this little shelf here to put things in. So I'll show you a few things. I mean, if you're familiar with the SO42, you know this is a storage area here. It's where I put all my camping gear and everything like that, totally ready to go at all times. Coleman, food, lantern, everything like that, coffee pot, everything. And this is your Z bed, folds out, so you can sleep in here. Table folds out. My mom made my curtains for me, so I was really happy about that. Mom was really awesome about making curtains when she was alive. She did that for several buses for me. Underneath, I have when we got our flooring in our house, I had some extra Pergo flooring. So you can see I put it down in Jerry and put the Pergo flooring down, and then I came up with this soft stuff. I think you've seen this at Harbor Freight before, but it's really nice because you can get on your knees and walk in here. It doesn't hurt, and I kind of like the padding kind of thing. You know, a couple of things that we did were a lot of fun, but doing it right, of course, is the Baltic birch ceiling. You could see one of the things I'm most proud of is all the paneling. You know, we had to redo that, of course, because it was all just rotted out bad. But we did the paneling in here and with the Baltic birch, so I'm real happy about that. Let's show you a couple things right here. You might have seen a previous episode. Somebody said, how do you put all those spares in something? Well, that's my spares right there. Everything fits in that little suitcase. And then, of course, here's the bag of tools. You've seen that before, so it goes with us all the time. And this is a really cool little deal. It's a gas can. It's totally sealed. I don't know if it's the safest thing in the world, but it doesn't vent any fumes or anything. So I always have extra fuel with me just in case, kind of thing. If you walk around, this doesn't have a spice rack, but I made a little table here that we easily sets up, you know, quickly for when we're camping. Flip that up, put the Coleman there, and man, we're ready to go as far as camping on that and cooking up. You can walk around the side here. Today I got the single wheel mounted up. It's good for carrying junk and stuff like that. So it's a real beaut, as they say. But I think it's an old Montgomery Ward's. I did a little research on it. It didn't have tail lights, so I mounted some bus tail lights on there, but they're not LED, so they're not very bright. A couple of other things. So you see this side of Jerry over here. The previous owner had was going to do some body work, And what they did is they had come through and they had basically took off most of all the original velvet green. And when I got it, this was all that red oxide primer. So I came through and actually lacquer thinnered that red primer off. And then over the years, this was, of course, at that time was totally bare. So it's kind of painted up a little bit. So that's one of the things. If you come over here, this is the ladder to the best thing that I've ever had on a bus. And this is this rack, and it's from Old Chad over in Florida. And Bully Driver, I believe, is his handle. And he was making these full on HWE 8-leg racks. And you can see it's awesome. It's a full bus rack, a folding ladder. I leave the ladder just mounted full time, man. It's just, I go up there so much, and it's just such a huge storage area. I went overkill on the top. I mean, 3/4 inch Baltic birch, but it's one big giant piece. But I like that. That's kind of a crazy thing there. All right, so a couple other things I want to show you guys. These are some bus steps that I made out of old bus jacks. They go into the jack points and just take the pad off well, so it makes, it's easy to you step up on it. It's really nice. So I'll make those and sell them at swap meets and things. Inside, Jerry's pretty, it's pretty much stock as can be. I did got new seat covers. These are from Wurzburg West, and boy howdy, I want to just say top quality stuff those guys make. These seats, this is truly just about my daily driver. I'll drive this or another Volkswagen generally every day to school. So and they've really held up well. I'm very, very pleased with that. Now you might look at something here on Jerry and you go, well, there's some little weird things going on here. Well, let me show you around here. Jerry's nose is a deluxe, and you're like, how in the world did that happen? Well, the coolest thing about this bus is I have everything back from when it was brand new, from the original owner. I have the paperwork for what he traded in his bus to buy Jerry, and so it's an unbelievable. So, and he had it till about 1986, 1988, somewhere in there, as best I can tell, and he sold it to someone, and I don't know if he did it or somebody else, but they wrecked it. And apparently, so what the repair was, I have the repair bill and everything from 1990. They put a deluxe nose on Jerry's, and then it's a 67 nose. So we got a new Titian nose and a Titian door. And you know what? I've just kind of left it like that, man. That's just kind of the way it is. I went in and welded up the deluxe holes, and that's it. But so when you look at this dash, you go, wait a minute. Well, that's why it has a clock, and that's why it has a big radio slot in it, and it doesn't have the spot over there on the end for the emergency flashers. But it's just a part of it, man. That's what gives this thing its character and whatnot. Another thing that, we use a lot when we're road tripping is the CBs. Just the coolest thing to have. I highly recommend that for you guys for sure. And oh, look, St. Francis is kicked over. Let me fix him there. Hey, another thing, it's just a necessity in a bus. Don't live without it, man. These are the Safari windows from Wolfgang. Absolutely just beautiful how easily they work. And I would not have a bus without Safaris, just especially living in Texas. But just anytime, man, they're just a wonderful thing. A couple of things you may need to know is, you got to do a little fabrication there to run your antenna and things of that nature. One of my favorite things is people go, well, how in the world did this bus get its name? Well, when I found it, it was pretty dilapidated. But one of the things about this bus that it had all over it, now I know it's very cliche, it had Grateful Dead stickers all over it. So I'm going through here, and I'm finding stuff, and I found somewhere back in here something very interesting. And there it is right there. You can kind of see right there. It says, Jerry lives within. So there you go right there, ladies and gentlemen. That's how this bus got its name. And somewhere right here, I have a piece of paper that has Jerry Garcia's phone number. Do you believe me? Well, I don't know. Let me see. Let me dig it out here. There it is right there. So if you ever want to call Jerry Garcia, there's his phone number right there. But good luck, I don't think he's living anymore. But that's how this bus got its name. I know people always ask things like, how do Volkswagens get their names? And that's how Jerry the bus got his name. It was covered in Grateful Dead stickers. I don't know, man. Maybe they may have traveled a little bit. I don't know. But when I got that and saw that right there, Jerry Garcia's phone number, I said, well, that's the name of this bus. So that's kind of how it got its name. But, this thing's gone everywhere. We take it to Big Bend, camping all over the place, Colorado, every summer. We usually head up there for a little bit. And you've seen previous episodes, Jake was talking about his general grabbers, but I'm going to say straight up with you, ladies and gentlemen, if you're running 14-inch bust wheels, stock wheels, you cannot beat these general grabbers. And just so you know, they're 27s by 8.5s by 14s. And I think now they're general grabber ATX. They don't make AT2s anymore. They're a little more aggressive is what I think Matt Jackson saw on the ad. But
yeah, they have AT3s as well.
Yeah, AT3s. But man, what a great wheel and tire combination for us. But that's pretty much that's kind of Jerry. I mean, I'm very fortunate to have it, and it's you know, it's one of those things. It's been around a long time. I cannot tell you how many different motors it's been put in there, off and on, and hopefully now I've got a pretty good setup going right now. We're running a 1776 with a really small 30-pick-1 carburetor, 205K on the distributor, and a stock exhaust. I just want a little bit of torque, and that's all I really want. I'm not going for speed or anything like that. If we're driving, I'm not ever going over about 55, 56 miles an hour, because we're still running reduction boxes, and you know where I'm going, I'll get there eventually. That's the most important thing. So if you have any questions about Jerry or anything like that, please get in with the comments and ask us. And man, I just appreciate you guys asking about some of the stuff and what we drive. So thanks a lot.
Hey everybody, this is Matt, and I'm going to talk about my bus now. This is Helga, a 1965 VW bus. She was born October 7th in Germany, 1964, and shipped to St. Louis, Missouri. I think she spent most of her life around Kansas. The previous owner picked her up around 2010 in Kansas, and he replaced the cargo floors that were rusted out and some other pieces. And then 5 years later, he was ready to sell it. So actually 3 years ago today, April 25th, 2016, he drove this bus on a trailer to the Texas VW Classic, and as soon as I saw it, I knew right away it was for me. It didn't have any windows in the interior. It was just a shell, but I knew it was for me, and I was so excited that day, and I knew I had a lot of work ahead of me, and I actually chronicled the whole process. I'll put a link below to my build thread on the Samba. You can go back and look at the whole process, and I'm gonna briefly go over everything I did and share with you guys the bus itself. And she also has a new nose. At some point she was wrecked, and they basically pasted on a new nose from here down, and it's got like a 1961 nose. So we've got Wolfgang International Safari windows. So they're out of Redding, California. Check these guys out. They have the best Safari windows in my book. We've got a Hurst bumper. Brent makes this. He's in Portland, Oregon. In Australia, they call these roo catchers. We might call them a cow catcher here. The nose was actually dented, and what you're seeing here is I painted this to match the bus. This is not real patina. I actually made that myself. When I got the bus, it needed everything. So I did all the rubber here. All this rubber had to be done. The front seats, it came with seat frames. Luckily enough, the bus came with seat frames and a front bumper and rear bumper. So I took the seat frames apart. I got so fine front seats, cushions, and fabric. I ended up, if you come in here, I replaced all the rubber components of the fresh air box. That's your air conditioning in a bus. So that's all new. These are little air deflectors from Shorty's. We use CB radio, so that's my CB radio extension. I've got a little basket for holding my drinks. I use a shift extender right here. The shifter is just a little too low for me. I'm kind of tall, so that's nice to have. Let's come around to the other side. You can see the paneling. We did all Baltic birch paneling in here. So you can see it's all real nice. We made all these, the ones on the roof. Over here is the bag that Marcy makes, Marcy Junebug on YouTube. She made that for me. I actually use this purple cushion thing. It's a little extra cushion for me. Got a brand new floor mat. And as far as my music goes, I use Unz. This is an Unz XL. I'll put a link to this. This thing is a Bluetooth speaker that is so loud you can hear it in your VW. Even though it's a loud vehicle, you can hear that thing. I highly recommend that for Bluetooth speakers. Another thing I did was I added 3-point safety belts. If you come over here, we welded in these plates that you can buy, and then it's got locking safety belts. These would have had lap belts originally, so this was just a little safety feature I added. Underneath up here, we did brakes, we did tie rod ends, we did, you name it, it's down there. I added an anti-sway bar A brand new master cylinder is down there. Yeah, so everything down here was gone through. That's just part of the process, you know, brakes and suspension. So that takes care of the front of the bus. We're gonna work our way down to the center. This is kind of the party area. I've got green shag carpeting. If you come in here, originally this would have had upholstery, so I took off all that glue and stuff and I painted all this. We did all 6 pop-out windows, all new rubber, painted the frames. You can see the paneling here. Built this bench out of Baltic birch, and in here you have all the tools and spare parts you could need to go on a road trip. From timing lights to carburetor, points, you name it, it's in here for the most part. Also have seat belts in here, lap belts across the back. This is actually the Bus Depot hinge kit. It's $100 for the 2 hinges, and you just build the bench around it. And I've loved it so far. It's been great, and it holds so much stuff in here. Behind each of these panels is sound deadening, and it's really helped. I think it's way less rattly than some other buses. So I highly recommend just going to Lowe's and getting their press and seal stuff that you'll see on my build thread if you want to look at that. With all the locks and all the keys and the handles, I had them all rekeyed. So now I have a set of keys that locks everything. Over here you'll see I got a step. Brian sold me this step and I love it. It's an original step, and it's just great to have to get in and out of this and when you're chilling out. Also, you'll see that I've got mud flaps front and rear, all 4. I had to build special brackets for the front, but back here as well, you can see they're good when we're going off-road to help with all the rocks, so you're not throwing rocks on all your buddies. Now coming around to the rear, one thing I love about this bus is just, I mean, look at that. That's just years and years of patina. And the thing was, this had primer all over it, so I didn't even know this existed. It was, someone just sprayed primer there and kind of willy-nilly, and I was able to get it all off. I think the bus was painted blue originally with house paint. You can still see some of the blue I haven't got off yet. But I was out, you know, rubbing off some of this blue paint. Okay, so now we're in the back, and I've got a 1600 single port that Tommy built for me. It's a chum bucket motor. I've got this license plate frame. It says Redding, California. I have fond memories of Redding. I used to go there every summer as a kid, and that's where Wolfgang is too. And that's also where they have the Shasta snow trip, which is an epic bus trip that they do each year. So I really wanted to find one of those, and I found it. Back here, it's pretty nice. We put in one of these little AutoZone lights. I've got an Optima red top, and it's just a 1600 single port. It just runs great, you know. Back here, a little thing I did recently was I installed this little thing to hold extra oil in a funnel, and so I don't need to go keeping my oil inside. I have it right there ready when I need to top off the oil. Another thing we did was install the Blaze Cut fire suppression system. So over here you can see there's a little dial. It shows you how much pressure's in there, and if it ever gets too hot, this explodes and it puts out the fire. I also have a fire extinguisher up in the front. The wiring harness, Gary and I both put new wiring harnesses in, so front to back it's all new wiring. We did that last summer, and it's really good to just know that your wiring is all good. So that pretty much sums up front to back. There are more details on my build thread, but now I want to take you up to the party deck. This is Chad's rack out of Florida. He's Bully Driver Steelworks on the Samba. Here, let me show you this ladder. So he sells the whole kit, and he'll ship it like this. All right. Come on up. So yeah, it's a big old deck. You can put a lot of stuff up here, and I did graffiti. I wrote Helga out. I named her Helga because it was just it felt like a strong German woman's name. Like, she's not gonna mess around. She'd probably slap you in the head if you acted up. So it felt like a suiting name for her. So I did some graffiti up here. And that's Helga.